Hello and welcome to the Sunday game on All-Ireland Hurling final day. After 34 matches of pulsating drama, it came down to an all-Munster showdown between Cork and Clare for hurling's ultimate prize. And for the first time in 11 years, the Liam McCarthy Cup is headed back to Clare. Our extended panel will give their detailed analysis of today's final, and we'll have the Sunday game team of the year and the man of the match very shortly. But first, let's go live to the Winners' Hotel to join Marty and Joanne, where the Clare party is in full swing.
Has roared all the way to the Intercontinental in Ballsbridge. Tony Kelly has already made himself heard on and off the pitch today. We'll be chatting with All-Ireland winning captain and his manager again.
And indeed many of the stars that recorded Clare's fifth All-Ireland title, 1914, 95, 97, 2013 and now 2024. No doubt the banner roars.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As Marty says, a fifth ever All-Ireland title for Clare. For the first time since 2013, neither provincial champions contested the All-Ireland final. On that day, Cork and Clare served up not one, but two classic games. 11 years later, they met in the final again today, and this one didn't disappoint either.
Tony Kelly captains the Clare team in this season's All-Ireland final as they seek only their fifth All-Ireland title. 11 years ago they won their last All-Ireland, and today brilliant hurlers like John Conlon and David McInerney in defence, Peter Duggan in attack are adding that extra bit of experience to the present side. Cork have come alive in this championship and arrive at Croke Park with a team that is simply in brilliant form. The full forward line of Patrick Horgan, Alan Connolly and Brian Hayes have scored 11 goals and 83 points in 7 games, an impressive statistic. Darragh Fitzgibbon has been outstanding in the middle of the field, while the Downey brothers, Owen and Robert, have been brilliant at full and centre-back. Ball is thrown in, match is on. Take a deep breath, it's just 3:30 on July 21st. It's the All-Ireland Hurling Final 2024. Cork won the toss, playing from left to right as we look at it, and they go straight into the attack, going forward, heading towards the 20-metre line, and that is sent straight over the bar. Tim O'Mahony getting his second point of the championship. He scored against Clare in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and he's done the same thing here at Croke Park.
Yeah, he got a lot of room there, ran onto it very pacey, tapped it over.
Ball is pucked out by Eibhear Quilligan, just kept in by Niall O'Leary. Sent into the centre. Clare marking's a little bit poor, to say the least. Tim O'Mahony drives it in low, trying to seek out and find Patrick Horgan. Patrick Horgan laying it back as Cork go for their second score, and that will raise the white flag. Good score by Seamus Harnedy. It's a great start by Cork.
It is indeed, Marty. Great ball in there by Tim O'Mahony again. Patrick Horgan slipped, but had the presence of mind to throw it out.
David McInerney sending it into the space, but there's nobody in the saffron and blue jersey going to make it there in time. Owen Downey into the centre towards Sean O'Donoghue, sends it down the wing, carries a little bit too much pace. David McInerney to Tony Kelly. Kelly, good ball inside towards David Reedy, running across from right corner forward to left corner forward, over towards left centre half forward Mark Rogers. And that is sent over the crossbar. It took a while, but Clare had a score after 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah, Mark Rogers at 14, Shane O'Donnell at 11. Great ball by Tony Kelly, great run by David Reedy inside, laid it off, and Rogers taps it over.
Ball comes down towards Adam Hogan. Over towards Dermot Ryan. Passing his own 65. Driving it. Straight between the posts and over the bar. It's a great response by the Barra County.
And Marty, that's the type of player Dermot Ryan is. He can have the odd wide, but he's after pucking 2 out of 2. David McInerney had a shot as well. Half back line doing well. What a battle so far.
Good work here by Kieran Joyce. Harty Cup winner in 2019 when Middleton CBS beat Flannels. That was a Cork-Clare battle as well. Over comes Brian Hayes. Hayes, difficult angle. Oh, that is a brilliant score. Brilliant score by Brian Hayes.
Mark Rogers probably should have won that ball, but well played out. Kieran Joyce, great ball. Some movement in that Cork forward line, but Clare also making plenty of room up front. Look at the space.
Good reaction, good stick work by Patrick Horgan. Robert Downey spreading the ball wide over towards the Cusack stand and Davin End. Brian Hayes is there. Colin Cleary keeping him company. Back out for Seamus Harnedy. He's already scored once in this All-Ireland hurling final, and there is his second. All-Star 2013 and 2018. 31 years of age. Absolutely brilliant score.
And the difference there, Marty, Robert Downey got that ball, could have taken a shot, he didn't. He angled it into Hayes, who did brilliantly after losing his hurl throughout the long hand pass out to Harnett, and he put it over. What a year he's having.
Robert Downey, Glen Rovers, who did this against Limerick, is heading for the same goalpost. He's made a marvellous run. Oh, what a fantastic goal! Robert Downey from Glen Rovers. Unstoppable. Brilliant play by the centre half back. This is a magnificent goal.
And Marty, that's one of the greatest goals I'd say ever scored in Croke Park. What a catch over Peter Duggan. 80 yards of a solo run. He looked around, he looked at his options, but he had the confidence to stay going. And look at it for a rocket. What a goal, one of the all-time greats.
But that is one hell of a goal. David McInerney aiming for Shane O'Donnell. Wins the tussle. 1-1. Getting away from Kieran Joyce. Peter Duggan knocked away. Here comes Shane O'Donnell again. Cutting inside. Trying to lay it off. Inside. There's an opportunity. Back in the net. Aidan McCarthy. It's the tonic that Clare needed because they have been playing poorly. But Shane O'Donnell this time is the creator at the Hill 16 end. He scored goals 11 years ago. This time he got the ball in. Far as Aidan McCarthy, and McCarthy rattled the back of the Cork net.
Yeah, well, I had said Shane O'Donnell hadn't touched the ball. He was involved twice in that. Look at his movement. He squirmed out of every sort of a tackle, and McCarthy with a brilliant natural finish.
Long took out again by the Ballinhassig keeper. John Conlon trying to get it across. Tony Kelly has the confidence to give it back to his goalkeeper, Eibhear Quilligan. Sends it down the middle channel towards David Fitzgerald. It's a good ball from the fecal man to Aina Kilnamona, and David Fitzgerald. Great score from the middle of the park. He scored 2 goals and 18 points from the midfield area. He's had a wonderful season, league and championship. It's reflected in this score. Giving it plenty of air, Robert Downey. Aiming for Alan Connolly and company. Brian Hayes there too. And then getting inside is Patrick Horgan. Adam Hogan trying to stay goal side, but here's Horgan! Side netting, but the referee had blown his whistle. You can hardly hear any whistle with 82,300 here packed in to this wonderful arena.
Yeah, the Clare are really shooting themselves in the foot. Again, there you can see clearly there was a free, but Patrick Horgan kept going. Good advantage by the referee.
Patrick Horgan raises the white flag for the 3rd time. He is now the top scorer ever. Well done, Patrick Horgan. And down towards David Fitzgerald. Over first Mark Rogers between the 45 and 65. And that is over the bar for the Scariff man's 2nd point of the game. Better from Clare. Much better.
Dermot Ryan and Harnedy having a great battle. One of many all over the field.
So now let's see who's going to win this second half and win the Liam McCarthy and that elusive title of All-Ireland champions. Cork and Clare giving it absolutely everything, giving it socks. And it's Cork on the attack immediately. Nice stick work by Brian Hayes, and that is over the bar. And as they did in the first half, Cork start off the journey of the second half impressively.
Yeah, that was a great touch there from Hayes out of the air. Brilliant score, but Clare a little bit casual there. Tony Kelly really should have got it up. Mark Rogers and led to the score. Great ball down the wing and super point.
Nicely controlled just about by Mark Rogers. There's acres of Croke Park pitch in front of him. Still Mark Rogers tries to get inside. This is Rogers! Oh my word! We had an absolute fabulous goal in the first half. Now we have a second. 82,300 people come alive or wherever you are in the world. Look at Scariff's Mark Rogers. What a score. Ducking inside. He knew exactly what he was going to do, and he hits it past Patrick Collins. Unstoppable. Fantastic.
That's a brilliant finish. Mark Coleman's going to be disappointed. He should have done better coming back.
Cork sending it down the wing. Well won by Seamus Harnedy. Beautiful skill to Tim O'Mahony, going for a hat-trick of scores. And Newtown Chandler Man is having a fabulous match. Made his debut against Clare back in 2018. Great memories, but today he also will have a great memory. 3 points, all of them sublime.
Yeah, and a brilliant first touch by Seamus Harnedy. Out to Tim O'Mahony. I love the game he's having here today.
20 minutes to go in this All-Ireland final. Puck out won by David Fitzgerald. Running again at the Cork defence, laying it off quickly. Tony Kelly, the captain, goes around the bend. Oh, beautiful skill. Kelly! Oh! Incredible! Incredible goal. Tony Kelly, the magician from Ballyea. The captain of the Banner County has lifted the hearts of the people of Clare. We have 3 fantastic goals. Robert Downey, Mark Rogers, but look at Kelly, the stick work. Sheer, utter magic in All-Ireland final day.
Well, Marty, that's 20 years practicing out the back. Look at this, the composure. I mentioned a minute ago, Mahoney at 3 points. He's the goal now to match it. We said Downey's goal, one of the all-time greats. That one is going to match it. Look at Harnedy taking the tackle.
Here comes Harnedy down for his Patrick Horgan. Horgan turns and sends that over the bar for his 6-point in the game.
And a great response from Cork. Harnedy this time to Horgan. He took a fierce hit there off him. But that goal is after lighting up the whole stadium. What a game we have on our hands here.
Lashing it down towards Patrick Horgan. Conor Lean doing well at corner back, getting the ball away. Cork fans looking for a free. David Fitzgerald shoots again, but this time he puts it between the posts.
Yeah, I don't know, but Patrick Horgan had the ball covered. But
was Patrick Horgan fouled before that?
He was out over the ball. To me, the cornerback has come from Hedge. You can't run through the corner forward. I think it should have been a free. That's a 2-point swing.
Ball into the centre towards Ryan Taylor. They trained together when they were trying to get back their fitness. Taylor looks at the post. Taylor hits that between the post and over the bar. Clooney Quinn rejoice. Banner County rejoice. He is a huge cog in this Clare side.
We said Cork had a great response to the goal, but now Clare have responded brilliantly again.
Great catch, Dara Fitzgibbon. Trying to get away from David McInerney. The referee is giving him the advantage. The advantage is not necessary because Dara Fitzgibbon scores his 24th point in the championship campaign. 2 in the All-Ireland final.
That is a brilliant catch. I said that Conlon wasn't beaten all day, but he won the last ball off Fitzgibbon in open space. But that's a great win there by Fitzgibbon, a great score.
Nicely picked up ultimately by Carl Malone. 2 points between the teams. 63.5 minutes. Ryan Taylor laying it off to Dermot Ryan. Ryan gets into a good position, hits it off his left-hand side and scores his 3rd point of the game.
But the run of Dermot Ryan at this stage of an Ireland final, to have that fitness, he went straight down the middle. That's his 3rd from play.
Ball rolls in, tripped down, and the referee has blown his whistle as the ball was rolling towards the Clare goal. Now,
it's a black card anyway for a start.
Is this a goal-scoring opportunity?
Absolutely.
Is it inside the large rectangle? It's a big decision now to be made by Johnny Murphy and indeed his umpires. He's given the free.
Which is the correct decision. But I don't think he's thought about the black card.
Patrick Horgan could well go for goal at the Hill 16 end. 5 players on the goal line, including the keeper, Eibert Quilligan. And he sends that over the bar. David Fitzgerald underneath it. Tim O'Mahony gets more involved again. It's Cork with Mark Coleman go in search of 2 more scores. Coleman felt he had the space, felt he had the opportunity. The All-Star from 2017 gets his 2nd point of the game. And once more in this pulsating, exhilarating All-Ireland hurling final, there's only 1 point between the teams. And away goes Tony Kelly, surrounded by 3 Cork players. Swings onto his left. This is fantastic. You just cannot beat class. And that is class with a capital C. Tony Kelly, once again leading by example.
Did you see him having a little look? He knew where the goals were, believe it or not.
And away come Cork down at the other end. There's an opportunity here and it's outside the post. It's wide. Dropping it down into the 20-metre line, batted away. This ball, this sliotar is vital. Cork have to get it. Little jersey pull. And the referee has indicated he's given a free.
He's right, Aaron Shanahan should. What was he thinking? There was clear men everywhere.
The 75th minute, heading towards the 76th. To level the match and force the game to extra time. What a game. What an All-Ireland final. What a thriller in the capital city. And Johnny Murphy has blown the full-time whistle. It's a drawn game. We do have extra time. Puck out from Patrick Collins. Darragh Fitzgibbon getting the better of John Conley. Trying to lay it back successfully to Mark Coleman. Hits an almighty belt of the sliotar between the posts. Unbelievable score by Mark Coleman. It's his 3rd point of the game. The Blarney man is an outstanding hurler. He gave this everything. Tony Kelly. Aidan McCarthy to Tony Kelly. What's he going to do here? He's going to go for it. And it's there again. There's an opportunity and saved. Oh, fantastic defending by Cork. Breathtaking. My God, not good if you have any sort of heart problems, I can tell you.
That was an unbelievable block.
Dermot Ryan getting the ball out somehow. Didn't quite reach David Fitzgerald. Good work again by Kieran Joyce. Trying to get away from the shackles of 3 or 4 Clare defenders. And somehow managed to get a shot in. The Castlemartyr man is outstanding. And they love him in Cork.
Well, that's 1-4 now from that half-back line. We've 3 from Coleman. But what a passage you played.
It's down to this now. And Cork win the possession. Tommy O'Connell. Good stick work and lovely ball inside. There's an opportunity here. Robbie O'Flynn takes the shot. Oh, fantastic save. Back in to Eibheart Quilligan. Superb goalkeeping by the Finkel man. Following in the footsteps of the great Seamus Jurek years ago.
This is Robbie O'Flynn. He probably say should have put it over the bar. Credit to him. Nice height. Good save by Quilligan.
Ian Galvin around the full forward line, around the edge of the square. Looking around to see who's available. Aidan McCarthy outside the Cork 45 and sends it between the posts and over the bar. Puck out, comes down into the path of Darragh Fitzgibbon. Stopped, laying back. Was it a chop down? That's what's being asked by the Cork supporters. Meanwhile, it's Clare with the possession. Acres of space in front of the player. It happens to be Shane Meehan. Clare celebrates. Shanahan has it. No free given. Cork, through sheer tenacity, get the sliotar back. And this time there's a free.
He's 30 seconds over the time now. Hoggy will definitely drop this one in.
It's the most dangerous lead of all, is the 2-point one. Heading towards the 92nd minute.
Oh, he went for it.
He went for the point and he's taken it.
I wonder, did he ask the ref, was there time left? We don't know that. He's out there in the field. There's 2 minutes gone.
How much will the referee add on now? 10 seconds, 7 seconds to go.
Oh, there was 2 minutes. Sorry, Marty. I was talking of a minute.
That's okay, Michael.
My mistake.
It's exciting, this match. As the ball comes down, free is given. to Cork. There is still time in this amazing All-Ireland final.
The goalie's going to have a go. Patrick Collins is coming out. He must be on the bounds of distance. I hope he's... Can he get this? This could end up in the back of the net. I don't think he can get the distance, but I hope he scores, and the draw is the most fitting result. This has been one of the greatest games of all time.
Patrick Collins from Ballinhassig gives it absolutely everything. Cork have to have it, and Cork have it. Can they get the equaliser? The ball is wide. The ball is wide.
It's over.
Cork
it's
hearts
over.
are broken, and Clare have won the All-Ireland. It's the full-time whistle. Brian Lohan has guided the Banner County to their 5th All-Ireland title. 1914, 1995, 1997, 2013 and 2024. Most amazing All-Ireland final. Heartbreaking for Cork. Incredible scenes here on the pitch in Croke Park. And after the most amazing All-Ireland final, Clare are All-Ireland champions on a full-time scoreline of Clare 3 goals and 29 points, Cork 1 goal and 34. An amazing, historic day for the Banner County.
We're looking forward to seeing you in it tomorrow night, and we're going to have some hell of a party up the Banner!
Oh, well, Anthony Daly, you've been that man going back to Ennis for one hell of a party. How is this one going to compare to the ones you've had?
One of the greatest ones, I'd say, you know. So after the tough days, Jackie, I think the sense of joy and relief in lots of ways from everybody, you know. Just only a few weeks ago, we came out of Thurles maybe thinking, oh, God, you know, could we be able to rise it even for a quarter-final, and to be sitting here tonight as champions for the 5th time in our lives, like, you know, it's just incredible.
After one of the games of the ages as well, Joe, when you look at some of the scenes here after what the players went through, level 14 times, level at half-time, level at the end of normal time, level at half-time and extra time, and just a point between the sides at the end, it was epic.
Yeah, it was, and because it went extra time as well, it kind of added to the whole thing. But like the fitness levels of the players was phenomenal throughout, and even Lucas, I remember with Galway, that's his 3rd with Tipperary, Galway and Clare now, so you could see from both sides, even the Cork lads, they were out on their feet at the end. But that brings up obviously the question as well about extra time today. I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but fair play to both sets of players. They left everything out there.
Would a replay have been a satisfactory result today, Shane?
I think so. As a player, I suppose your whole kind of week is built around a banquet, time off, work, like so a lot goes into it. But that's the players. I think overall, you know, so much time and effort goes into it, and not just in the last maybe 9 or 12 months, but over the last couple of years. If you get an opportunity to play an All-Ireland final, I think if it finishes level, go on away home, take a breather for 2 weeks, come back and go at it again. So, but listen, it is what it is. I think, you know, extra time, it added to the whole atmosphere, and it was just an incredible game. And I think it was Ken Ralph saying during the week, the Clare selector, that 1,000 mad things happen in a game of hurling and then someone wins. And that's what it was today. It was just, there was so much happening. Even trying to sit down and analyse it was really, really hard. So much went on. But Clare were deserving winners, Jackie. Over the last couple of years, they've been really, really close to Limerick, who obviously been very, very good. And I think they deserved the day today.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, even when you're smiling there, Anthony, I think it's right, because everybody wants to, you know, if you win it in particular, you'll say, yeah, we absolutely would have taken that. But I think it's just what it took out of the players, Ursula. Like Jackie was even remarking, the amount of players who had to leave the field. It was extraordinary.
I think both panels were definitely stretched today, because, you know, the amount of players who went off injured and subs that came in, and, you know, it just shows how important your panel is as well. And definitely both panels were used to the fore today. But like Clare showed massive resilience, not only today but across the year, because, you know, they had their setbacks, as Anthony said, like Munster final, and look at them now. You know, they lost 2 games as well in the championship, you know, both to Limerick, and to come back today and put in that performance, like, it was just phenomenal to be there, and it was just gripping from start to finish.
When we were walking into the stadium earlier, Jackie, you said to me you had a sense that this was Clare's day. I don't know if you're Mystic Meg now or what it is, but there was something there that just kept drawing you back to them.
Yeah, well, I just think of the mentality going into the final. I mean, Cork had hit such heights against Limerick. Could they reach those heights again? And ultimately they couldn't. And Clare went away, even though they performed very well in the second half against Kilkenny, they knew they weren't in the place where they needed to be, and they had 2 weeks to find that. They had a big scope for improvement, and they got it today. And you know, Brian Lohan is a fairly mean man, and I can imagine he was laying it down to those lads the last 2 weeks that you performed for 70 minutes, and it actually took 90 minutes. And in fairness, they did the business, and congrats to them.
Where does this rank, Brendan, in terms of All-Ireland finals, do you think, over the years?
I think it's right up there, there's no doubt. And you could feel it, I don't know, with the greatest respect to Limerick and Kilkenny over the last number of years. The change was fantastic, right? You'd animated men like this fella, Dalo over there, the passion, the newness, the freshness to it, the hunger that Cork had brought all summer to this. You know, it culminated here in Croke Park. I remember in Thurles today, hearing that we're outnumbered 20-1 kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It was crazy. And there was a madness in Clare support as well, going, do you know what, if Cork are going to do this, we are. And all that inside in the cauldron of Croke Park inspired, I think, the players today. They ran until they dropped, you know. And on that, like, I think for a spare thought, I suppose, for Patrick Horgan, I really got touched with his interview during the week with Don Logue. I would have hurled against Patrick, not saying that he's that old, he should be playing against me back in the day, right? But just to hear him speak and how much it means to him. Now, you had fellas playing today, like every other All-Ireland final, right, that it means absolutely everything to him. And I just looked down on him after the game today, and I felt so sorry for him in particular that his team didn't get across the line. I'm sure there's another maybe push in him, but it's that fire's inside in all of us, and it ignited today in Croke Park. There's no doubt that it was an unbelievable spectacle, and right up there.
Yeah,
right
and I think with Cork in general, Anthony, you know, there's a... I think for them, maybe there's just a sense of tonight what could have been as well, I know.
Yeah, and, you know, hard to believe, Jackie, that they lost the first 2 rounds in Munster, and everyone had them gone, and there was a few lucky breaks. Like if that 65 hadn't come in us, you know, and Tip got the goal in the point late on in. So, but then they really did it against the best champions we've seen in a couple of decades, maybe. You know, Jackie's team or the Limerick team. So, you know, they really deserve to be there. And you know, I love their management. Pat Ryan, you'll be drawn to him. He's a straight talker, and Brian is a bit the same, but he wouldn't show it as much as Pat. He wouldn't be as open maybe in the interviews. But yeah, I'd feel for them tonight. But I think they are onto something very special. Whether that's a consolation to Hoggy and Shemi Harnedy tonight, I know it's very hard for them. But they played a massive part in the year. The support, incredible support they brought. The colour they brought, incredible.
Yeah, they certainly did, and they played their part in what was an epic day today. We're going to take a quick break here on the programme, but we've got plenty more still to come. We have got analysis on today's big matchups and how Clare have become All-Ireland champions for the 5th time. We've got reaction, and we've got the man of the match to come live from the Winners Hotel a little bit later on. And don't forget, you definitely don't want to miss this one as our panel picked their Sunday game Team of the Year.
For more great shows, go to the RTE Player app on Sky.
Well, Clare are All-Ireland champions for the 5th time. Brian Lohan has been to the top of the mountain as a player, and now he has taken his Clare team all the way to the top once more.
This Clare team has been maligned for 3 or 4 years for being nearly there and for knocking on the door. Well, today, we kicked that door down.
This is the greatest day of my life anyway, and speaking for the lads, I can fairly say it's the greatest days of their lives as well.
It's unbelievable. I'm lost for words now, but Christ, we just took it ball by ball, play by play, and we just took it out. Like, we backs to the wall there in the first 10 minutes, we were 7 or 8 down.
Oh, what a fantastic goal!
This group never dies.
It's the tonic that Clare needed.
We probably chased the game at times, but our fellas stuck in there, really represented the jerseys, what we've asked all the time from them. and just couldn't get over the line.
Days like this are why you play sport for 20 or 30 years, hoping that you'll get this opportunity, and this group has been absolutely exceptional.
Oh my word!
In Clare, hurling is like a religion, and Brian Lohan is like our God.
Well, look, it was just one of those games. Like it always had the potential to be, you know, that you've got such brilliant players on both teams, you know, and just ball-playing players that, you know, that have everything that is right in the game.
Lohan, the legend that has led us to All-Ireland success, so that man probably deserves a statue next week, so we'll build it for him.
That's the greatest thing I'll ever do as a GAA player. And yeah, look, just lucky and privileged to be asked to be captain, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, incredible!
This has been one of the greatest games of all time.
We're looking forward to seeing you in Innis tomorrow night, and we're going to have some hell of a party up the banner!
Dramatic day, and at the end of it all, for the first time since 2013, Clare are the All-Ireland champions. We're going to take a look in detail over why that is. But let's start with Cork, Brendan, because I think early on, if you'd have said that Clare were going to end up as All-Ireland champions, maybe people would have been surprised, because the way that Cork started this game was like a train.
It was. Well, 11 minutes in, it was 1-7 to 2 points. Just for the throw-in, Shane Barrett had knocked John Conlon over, and I thought, jeez, this is looking great for Cork. There's physicality before they start. Right from the throw-in, Tim O'Mahony gets the ball, runs right down the heart to the Clare defence. This is probably the first warning shot for Clare in that 10 or 11 minute spell that Cork had. But the space inside was the key, and the starting position of the inside forwards for Cork will also help to create more space. All started inside the 21, all clear on what their job was. And even when Horgan was turned around, he has a presence of mind for Harnedy, who at that stage couldn't hit the ball wide. He was really on fire. And again, the tassel and the tackling and all that stuff you'd expect on an Ireland final day was there in spades from Cork in those opening phases of the play. See here Barrett there getting on it, and then when he cuts inside, he runs and explodes into that space that's created when you get that turnover. Hurling's again the counter-attack essentially anyway, and he knew it. But again, this is the starting position really impressed me early days for Cork. They knew they had the legs inside. Hayes was able to isolate Cleary. Ball played out, bouncing in front of him, gets it, looks up, gets the ball outside to Harnedy. You can see the movement all around the screen, the Cork players trying to create space, trying to draw defenders away, and they get the score away. And this really capped it off. We said at the start Clare were going to be man for man. They took it to the next extreme. Dermot Ryan pushes out past his man. Next up it was Lean, followed his man, never went against the ball carrier, and Hogan stayed inside and never came out to meet him. And when Downey ended up 8 yards away from Quilligan, hit into the roof of the net. So it was amazing actually, because going into the game, if you're managing the team, you say, right, we have to have shape, we have to have structure. You stay here, so in case that Downey run happens, you're there to meet him. But Clare just decided, we're going man for man no matter what happens, and it looked a bit crazy there. And after first 11 or 12 minutes, I was going, my God, what's this score going to be? But to be fair to them, they were brave, they trusted each other, they trusted the process, and eventually they ground Cork down.
Well, you say that. This man was sweating bullets behind us. I think you were nervous at that stage, weren't you?
Yeah. Very warm. Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, because we didn't get off the bus against Kilkenny, and I'm saying, is this happening again? And remember the Mikey Carey run, the goal didn't come, and I'm saying, I thought significantly, and Liam, in fairness to him, Liam Sheedy picked it out, that Tony, after the goal, dropped a bit. You know, he kind of came back and made a fourth half-back there, and allowed John Conlon maybe to sit a little bit, and we started to get a grip. But at 1-8-4, yeah, I was sweating bullets.
Well, one of the things that they did do, sorry, that's going to stick now. One of the things that they did do was they got to grips with the Cork puckouts, which actually had been brilliant against Limerick, Shane.
Well, it had been, and that night down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the one thing that Cork went after was a long puckout, so they went after the breaks, and they destroyed Limerick. And they did the same thing again in the semi-final. They didn't change up anything. Barrett, Decky Dawson, kept Kyle Hayes really, really wide, kept him out of the game, and they just gambled after the breaks, and it worked every single time for them. And coming into today's game, they were going to go after that, but they also knew that there was going to be space against this Clare team, because as Brendan said, they do go man on man. But But the long puck outs today in the first half, I mean, the stats were frightening. Look, 2 from 14, 14%, and the net points return was actually -4 points for Cork, whereas in the previous games they've absolutely annihilated, mainly Limerick in the long puck outs, but also in the quarter-final as well. And I mean, here's the example. If you look at Decky Dalton there, he was way out on the sideline the last day and would have pulled out Kyle Hayes. Maybe they didn't give David McInerney the respect that Kyle Hayes got. First puck out, down on top, caught it over him. Next one, they just weren't as aggressive on the break. If you can see here, Darragh Fitzgibbon doesn't push up on Cathal Malone, doesn't win the break. They just didn't seem to be as aggressive. Now, this is really interesting. They definitely went after John Conlon, 35 years of age, Shane Barrett, young, really, really quick. Conlon gets the first touch, the second touch. So, like, they isolated him, they went after Conlon, but by God did he stand up today, one of the warriors of the Clare team, ball inside to Diarmuid Ryan and straight over the bar. So Cork just were not scoring off their puck out, but Clare were turning it over as well. Even the position of Peter Duggan here, he's nearly back in his own 65, so the space that Patrick Collins does see, the half-forward line are cutting out. And again here, it's just an interesting one. If this was Kyle Hayes going back to it, he would have been 40 more yards underneath the Hogan stand. They just didn't do what they did against Limerick for some strange reason, I don't know why. And this is exactly what Cork have been doing in the last number of games. Look at Barrett here, he's gambling. And Cork have got goals from that gamble going through on goal, but they just didn't get their position right today. And full credit must go to Clare because, and I want to go back to that John Conlon piece as well. He was left in, you mentioned it there, Brendan, 40 yards of space against one of the quickest players in the game in Barrett, and he just tenacious, wouldn't let him go. And at one stage Jerry hit him a clip around the head, he got away with it, but he just let him know like that today is not going to be your day. And you would have said young bull versus old bull, and by God, Conlon stood up today.
Just one thing, I looked at it before the game, Jackie, was against Limerick, Patrick Collins got off a massive amount of quick puck outs, even after scores. I don't think Johnny allowed that today. I'd say he had a word with both keepers. Yeah. So while he did, and so did Ever Quilligan after wides, but after the scores, his hand was constantly up. Wait until I tell you to puck it out. Wrote down his score. So I thought that might have affected things a little bit.
There was no confusion in what Clare did. Actually, the clarity was genius in what they had. If you have a half-back line standing, playing zonal, pass them on, pass them on, pass them on. Then when there's fractured play, we'll call it, you get caught. Who's on him, because down there you can't hear yourself think. But if I know I'm marking you, every time the ball is away from us, I go to you. And there was great clarity in that from Clare. So Collins today, if you noticed, was longer hitting it out because you looked up the pitch, everyone was man for man. And when you're shoulder to shoulder, there's less chance of getting that break than your zonal. Because you remember the Clare defenders were moving with the forwards. They weren't standing waiting to see what was going to happen. I think that contributed to what happened.
But also, what Cork really did really well, they pulled the Limerick half back line out 10-15 yards, which allowed a bit of space for Brian Hayes to go in and break it. Clare didn't move. They stayed there, and Davy McIndoe, they were actually under the ball, whereas Limerick were kind of back, and Brian Hayes used to start in the corner, run to the edge of the D and break it, and then you had the runners coming through. So that bit more of a 5-10 yards just gave it a bit more space for Cork in the semi-final. Clare just dropped a little deeper and didn't allow it.
Well, if that's one thing that they get right, it's not just breaking down Cork's puck out, it's also the way that they turn the tide themselves, Joe, and they start getting into the free-flowing state.
Yeah, for sure, and goals for Clare came at crucial times today. And like Shane O'Donnell has been phenomenal all year, and he's I wouldn't like to mark him anyway, but he kept going here. Even when he gave the ball off, Duggan lost it again, but then he just had the peace of mind to go after it again and pass it off. And here again, Rodgers like onto the breaking ball. This is what Cork actually were trying to do. Rodgers straight in, and all he had in his mind was goal. I'd question a small bit of the defending of Mark Coleman there. I thought he a little bit easy to let him buy him there. But Rodgers was brilliant today. McCarthy was brilliant today. Like, they're the lads that stood up today and kept Clare in the game when, let's say, Tony Kelly, it took him a while to get into the game, but when he got into it then, you know, they were very, very impressive. And the range of scores from everybody, all the forwards, you know, they really stood up.
Yeah, well, it set us up for the most dramatic finish, Jackie, that we could have imagined. There was just so much going on. We were running out of paper even making our notes, you know.
Yeah, it was madness, Jackie. It really, really was. You know, it started with this goal opportunity for Cork. Shamie Harney breaks off Decky Dalton. Great block by Conor Cleary, but look at the reaction of Alan Connolly and Brian Hayes inside. That should have went in, should have been a 65 for Cork. Ball goes down the other end of the field. A break, David Reedy picks it up. and over the bar, and that's a 2-point swing, which the margins were so tight. And then we had this decision, so much going on. And first of all here, Davy Mack slips, goes to grab Robbie O'Flynn's shorts, doesn't actually catch him. Robbie O'Flynn falls to the ground. Very hard to distinguish what actually happened. Did Davy Mack clip him here or not? Was it intentional or not? A lot going on. Ava Quilligan and also Adam Hogan were covering. So in fairness to Johnny Murphy, he took his time, a lot of bodies in the way for him to call it, went into his umpires, spoke to him. I felt he just about got away with Davy Mack. It could have been a black card, but he actually rotated his body around, so it's hard to see whether he actually caught Robbie Hayes or Robbie O'Flynn. Robbie O'Flynn probably did go down a bit easy too.
Do any of you think that that was a black card and a penalty?
I would be in fan of VAR, probably the wrong word because it's a soccer term, but some sort of help for referees. I'm in fan of it. How you go about it is a whole new discussion. We've looked at that, I don't know how many times, and we're still inconclusive as to whether that was a black card or not. So when you're talking about referees and umpires and whatever, they have a split second. As you said, Jackie, Johnny was looking through a sea of bodies. We've looked at it, God knows how many times, and we're still not 100% sure. It's a real tricky one.
Johnny Murphy had a good game today.
Very good.
I thought he let the game flow. I thought he got all the big calls right. And even in that instance, that was a big call. Took his time into his umpires because he couldn't see and made a judgment call on it.
Bit surprised Hoggy didn't go for the goal.
He could, yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, Jesus, he might go for it, but there was a lot of bodies. It was...
But when it was moved in, because the Clare lads wouldn't...
I know, but if it was saved then and
would you
goes down the field... No, I wouldn't. I think he took the right option, to be honest. Like, there was, what, 5 lads on the goal line.
There was still time on it as well.
It was a draw. Was it a draw game at that time, roughly?
Yeah. So, it looked an inspired choice once they came back and got the draw.
Well, look, everything is after you win it, isn't it?
Hindsight is great.
The mad thing is that the drama didn't even stop there, because then you get into extra time and there's a whole another wave of it comes.
Yeah, and it was just frantic again in extra time, and so many key moments. You know, Clare and Cork both had goal chances. Tony obviously went for one shot, and then David Fitzgerald probably should have nailed it then on the second one, but Cork defended well. This one, I think Robbie O'Flynn, you know, huge amount of pace has been an impact off the bench. He probably hit it at a nice height for Quilligan. Should he have taken it further in? I think so. Could he have possibly went for a point to put them a point up? I think he was right to go for a goal, but I think he should have went further. This one, you know, Conlon gets to hurling across Fitzgibbon. I probably felt it was a free. Clare go up the field. This is the fine margins, and Shane Meehan pops it over the bar. So you're talking about, you know, a 2-point swing again. You know, so Cork will probably feel a little bit aggrieved there. And then the final one, obviously, you know, Robbie O'Flynn, you know, plucks the ball out there brilliantly. You know, on the replay, you can see there's a tug of the jersey from Conor Lean. Robbie still potentially should have, you know, got the ball over the bar, but the jersey was tugged. But again, these are the fine margins, and I don't think Cork can just boil it down to that final.
Yeah, and in fairness, Stone Logue, even after the match, I think kind of said that let's not let that colour the whole game, which, credit to him, probably isn't an easy thing to say right after the game. Well, let's go to the Winners' Hotel. We've seen some of the magnificent scenes already there. The party atmosphere absolutely in full swing, no doubt about it. So let's go back to Joanne, who's no doubt with a very happy captain and manager.
Here at the Intercontinental, I'm with 2 men who now each have 2 All-Ireland titles as players, and one also now as a manager as well, Brian Lohan and Tony Kelly. That's a much milder introduction than the one you would have seen a minute ago when they were first called up onto the stage. We won't mention what you did, Brian. There was a little bit of this going on. Brian, how different is it doing it in the manager's position than being in the full-back line?
Well, look, it's it's been so long since we won our All-Irelands, going back all those years ago, and it's been 11 years, I suppose, since we've tasted success up here. So just brilliant for the group of players, brilliant for everyone who's involved, everyone who's in the room here, everyone who's at home in Clare, all the various clubs, and not just at home in Clare, but you know, all over the country and all over the world. We're just delighted for the group that we have, and they're a special bunch.
How did it feel when you were listening to this man's speech? He said a lot, but particularly when he referred to hurling being the religion and you being their God.
Well, I didn't actually hear the speech. We could see what he was saying. We could see what he was saying, but we couldn't make out what he was saying. But it was look, it's just brilliant for Tony that, you know, I'm looking at the replay of his goal there. It's just brilliant for him. The biggest day. And we needed a guy to produce it, and if there is a guy, he produces it all the time. in training, you know, we all see what he's like, but just for him to do it and to remove all those doubts that there sometimes can be about great players, just brilliant for him, and we're so proud of him to be up at the, you know, to collect that Liam McCarthy Cup in the Hogan stand today.
What you said, Tony, was nice. What he said was pretty nice as well. But what Brian said there, and this is something that the greatest always have to deal with, because there's always people looking to knock them down as well. And one of the things that you did say in your speech that Brian didn't hear, but you referred to how this team had been so maligned for years. Was that a performance filled with hurt today?
Yeah, look, every day you go out, you want to perform and you want to win. I suppose since Brian came in, we've been beaten in 3 Munster finals, and yeah, look, when you don't get over the line, obviously, you know, you ship a bit of criticism, and you know, that's just the nature of sport. But yeah, look, today was kind of a, I suppose, maybe a grown-up moment maybe for this team since Brian came in, and yeah, look, we're delighted, obviously, as players, but for him and the management team that have put so much work into it since they came in 2020, and I suppose built us from the foundations up. And yeah, look, we always speak about you don't deserve anything in sport. You have to go out and work for it. And yeah, look, at every panel member to a man has really worked hard. Not only this year, 3-4 years. John Conlon's doing it 20 years, but
He did all right, though.
And he's doing a couple of more as well.
Is he?
He is.
Brian is thinking, I hope so.
But yeah, it's just reward, I suppose, for the amount of work that goes into it, and yeah, just thrilled.
Was this a game that you just were determined to grab and just take hold of it?
As a team, like, or?
You believe in you individually. There were moments there, particularly in the second half, and it was like, right, we're going to do this.
Yeah, look, I suppose you're just trying to impact a game as best you can. Whether that's getting on ball, trying to take a score, if it's the boys at the back, trying to win ball and come out with it. And yeah, you're just trying to impact it as best you can. And we were lucky today. We had leaders all over the field, from Ava in goal, Conor Lean, all the way up through the field. And lads that went off came back on again. Lads that came on really contributed to an overall effort. And yeah, we had a lot of lads made a great impact today.
Tell us about the group. You referred to the group and how special they were. You talked so well about Tony, but it does seem like there's this lovely bond there. And obviously there are some of the older ones in the panel, but lots of the younger ones who made such a big impression this year again.
Yeah, no, we have a super group, and you know, they come to training regardless of what time of the year it is. Just give so much. You know, if we ask them to train 10 times a week, they train 10 times a week. They're just a really special group, and we've got young guys coming on now. Really good work being done at underage level. Our minors, tremendous guys. Our 20s, Terence Fahey, the work that he's doing with those. So it's a good story. It's a good news story, and obviously we get great support from you know, all the people that are in this room, and then further afield as well. So we're just thrilled that we could get a trophy. Although this is our second trophy this year.
Oh yeah, that's it. You know, tell me this before you go. We know now that John is going to be back next year. Is that right, John? Brian Lohan going to be back for back-to-back league titles and All-Irelands?
Well, look, tonight is just a brilliant night for a celebration for all of us, anyone that has anything to do with Clare, and it's celebration tonight and celebration tomorrow and for the rest of the week. So thanks a lot for your support.
And maybe a bit longer, the All-Ireland winning manager and captain, Brian Lohan and Tony Kelly.
Just sensational stuff. I think what they've managed to do, and this team, Anthony, I think just, you know, just even listening to them there, you know, talking about losing 3 Munster finals, to be able to come back, to show the resilience that they've shown, and to have a night like this, it just means so much. Yeah, and resilience is the word Ursula used it earlier. You know, 1-8 to 4 points, and they said, oh God, and then they came up with something and went down level at half-time, and maybe unlucky not to be ahead at half-time. And then the end of the game, they must have been deflated. Like they were in touch and distance,
had to go back into the dressing room. I don't know how they actually do it. I said it to John Conlon in the one-to-one I did with him, like that. You know, my team, and it used to take us a year to get over defeats. Now maybe the system was a bit different, but they seem to be able, you know, the Limerick game this year in Ennis, I mean, the walk from the park to the car was just, oh my God, hurl them off the field for 55 minutes, then Limerick do what they do, and go down to Cork the following week then and pull out a victory. They're unbelievable that way, like, and the way they've been able to respond every year. So, yeah, it all came out today, I think, and clicked together.
It did, and a lot of it is to do with Tony Kelly and his performance. I know there, even in his interview, Joe, he doesn't want to make it all about him, but on the big day, he really stood up today.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Like, the scores he got today, one was better than the next. Do you know, like, the 1-4 he got was probably the greatest 1-4 of any player in any All-Ireland final. Like, every score, the points swiveling around, he's back to goal, this on the sideline. His goal was probably one of the greatest goals ever scored in an All-Ireland final. You know, it was just pure class. This one catching from a line ball. He got a nice little welt in the hand there for that one as well. But he was just brilliant when they really needed him on the big day. This one again, he got the flick in first, won it back, then flicks it overhead. Like, he was just...
When you're on, you're on.
When you're on, you're on. But like on the biggest days, like he as well, quarter-final as well, he got 6 or 7 points. The semi-final, when they needed him against Kilkenny late on, he got a couple of points. But this goal, just the composure to do it. Like, going through, you think maybe you tap it over, and then just to flick it back and have the composure, like, that's class. And you can't teach that kind of thing. Like some players have that, and not everybody can do that.
You mentioned earlier there about the likes of Tony Kelly and those great hurlers nearly got us through COVID at the time. Remember, he was closing the bins with the hurley, like, you know, and some would say they were doing the CGI and that they weren't really doing that, but they were, like, and you can see it in Croke Park there with the whole of the Cork defence coming back trying to hit him with a hurley, like, and he just do and in, you know, that's training.
Like, some of the modern day coaching would say that you should nearly do nothing in practice or training without it being opposed and all games based. Like, that's from an alley, that's from a ball and a wall. That's just...
I heard him saying as well afterwards, you know, he was going to put it over the bar, and then next thing he sees Sean O'Donoghue coming out of the corner of his eye. Like, all that is just pure instinct as well. You can't teach that.
We're still raving about, you know, Maradona getting a goal against England, Fado in a World Cup. Like, that's just a goal for the ages.
Tonight is hurling's night, that is for sure. Jackie, I think when you're trying to reflect on the year and everything that has been asked of both of these teams, so many questions about Cork, their spine, their leaders, what can they do? But you feel that they have really built a team around the Downies in particular that can drive forward with this Cork team.
Oh yeah, Jackie, like it's a sad night for Cork hurling, and you were a deflated lady beside me in the box, but there's an awful lot new about this Cork team, and Dalo spoke about Pat Ryan and what he's brought to it. But the two Downies, like, they've a spine of a defence that they can build this team around. And look, they had a great year, and still they probably made some mistakes today, but that goal from Rob Downey today, what an athlete. He just took off, and Peter Duggan was trying his best, just couldn't there. But the composure to finish like that from a centre-half back is unbelievable. And then his younger brother inside, like, this isn't easy. The concentration here, look at the reaction, straight into the hand and out he goes. Owen Downey, for a young lad, was outstanding for 21 years of age. The instinct here, a real defender, never gives up and gets back for the block here on Dermot Ryan, and out it goes for a 65. You know, old school defending in lots of ways, and Owen Downey came up the field and he got a score. To get 1-1 from them today, they can build on these lads. Shane Barrett is coming through. I know Patrick Horgan probably have a lot to think about this winter and things like that, but in these guys, they have defenders that they can build around and they can drive on in the future, because they're real defenders. And that's been a question for Cork for the last 5-6 years. Who's going to man 3? Who's going to man 6? And there's your answers now today.
Big questions answered for them. The difficulty is, Brendan, though, 25 years... Next year, by the time it comes to the All-Ireland final, you looked at the Jubilee team today and you're watching, you know, them coming out, you're seeing these beautiful celebrations. Mark Landers walks out with the cup, and look at this, you're thinking, I mean, first of all, they seem so young because maybe all of our childhood memories are framed around these moments, but you're watching them coming out. And you see Don Logan there as well, Jimmy Barry Murphy leading that team, and 25 years suddenly for these Cork fans who watch that Jubilee team is going to feel like a very long time.
It is, and I met those great players that haven't played against all of them underneath the tunnel there at one stage earlier on today, but I think it's a lot different than when Cork came away from their last All-Ireland final, where they kind of trooped out at half-time going, oh, I wish this was over, and everyone was going. There's different now. There's nearly what I call a movement in Cork. I see their underage structures, played against them, seen them at minors, seen them at under-20 level, winning All-Irelands, right? They had Pat Ryan involved with them, who was a key part of that, knows every one of those young players that are coming, will blood them at the right time. Now, of course, they'll say Patrick Hall and the boys will stick around maybe for another 12 months, Harnedy, all to help to hand over the baton. But they're now building from a position of strength. I remember a couple of years ago, blowing Paul Keevan and they having Rout on Loke saying, I wonder, like, is there no fight in you? Like, you got tick below. We're seeing Cork hurlers today and all summer tick. They're angry, they're fighting back, and if they can carry that now over the winter and carry the momentum into next year, they know they're back at the bottom of the hill. But I've seen them at underage, what they have coming. They have great players coming now, Jackie. And they have also, I suppose, a known insider that we're nearly there. Right, and with the support they have as well, it's only a small thing will get them across the line.
The problem with knowing that you're nearly there, right, and I've been there in my early career with Limerick, is that when you were nearly there, there was nearly an automatic expectation that by the time it comes around next year, we're there, we just have to find another % or two. That's not the case. They have such a hard winter ahead of them because now everybody is aware of Cork. Like, it's not to know that people weren't aware coming into this year, but with the performances that they've put in this year, they need to work harder than ever in the winter ahead than they did this year because, again, it's not that they were a surprise package, but they've shown their capabilities now, and there can't be an automatic expectation that they're just going to turn up again next year. And it's a long road.
And they have to go to Ennis and Limerick in the round robin next year.
It's
the round robin in Munster. It's
a fair point, because if history is taught us that, and we taught with Tip in 10 when they won the All-Ireland, the under-21 team, they won it then. Clare came in 13, and look how long it's taken them to get back. So Shane is right. You know, what they did in the semi-final, Clare targeted, they probably got parity with it. So they'll have to get those new young lads come in with something different again this year, because it won't be automatic for them.
Yeah, they will. Well, as we say, 20 years, a long time to wait by the time they get to 2025 next year. But time for us to take another quick break here on the programme. Plenty more to come, though, as we look back on another memorable hurling year. Plus, we've got highlights of the ladies' football semi-finals.
Courtesy of RTE Sport and Harris Maxis, one of Ireland's longest-standing automotive distributors and retailers, here's your chance to drive into summer in a brand new Maxis Mifa 9, worth €80,000. So, for your chance to win the car, answer this week's question. Which of these teams knocked out Kerry to go through to this year's GAA Football All-Ireland Senior Championship final? Was it Armagh or Tyrone? To enter, call the number on screen or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57886. Maximum cost per entry is €2.50. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Tuesday 6th of August. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
For more great shows, go to the RTE Player app on Sky.
Welcome back. So as the 2024 Hurling Championship draws to a close, it's Clare who reigns supreme. A year of history with the first ever 6 in a row in Munster, a 5 in a row in Leinster, and still plenty of chatter about that so-called microwave championship. Enda McAvoy takes us through the highs and lows of the championship season.
A film we'd seen before. A new one began. The king still on his green throne by the banks of the broad, majestic Shannon. Limerick's drive for 5. But not where it would end. Clare firing the first shots. A league win, only their 5th ever.
Clare are the National Hurling League champions.
And it didn't do their championship quest any harm. But in Munster, they fell to Limerick for the 3rd year in a row. It was still easy being green.
This is history. Limerick, 6 in a row, Munster Hurling champions.
A few weeks earlier, Cork, having lost their opening 2 games of the provincial round robin, also met the Green Giants. They needed to win. And on the night of a classic down south, where both teams shot the lights out,
That's a goal!
They did.
What a night in Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Several thousand on the pitch afterward. Maybe they knew something the rest of us didn't. Leinster yielded several tales of the unexpected. Wexford losing to Antrim in Belfast before beating Galway by 8 with 14 men. Plucky Kilkenny went down to Carlow and escaped with a draw. Dublin travelled to Salt Hill and conquered, but they couldn't maintain momentum, and the provincial final went the way of the Cats.
Kilkenny Leinster champions for the 5th year running.
Among the big winners of the year, Offaly. Victory over Laois in the Joe McDonagh Cup decider means they'll be playing McCarthy Cup hurling in 2025. Memorably, Offaly supporters travelled in their droves to the All-Ireland Under-20 final, bringing 25% of their population with them. With the faithful behind them, how could they lose?
Awfully delighted, they are the champions.
Nolan Park proved an equally happy hunting ground for Tipperary, who won the All-Ireland minor final with 13 men.
Who clinch it
A rotten year for them at senior level was suddenly and gloriously redeemed. Clare too found redemption. They reached Croke Park for the 3rd year in succession, this time finally beating Kilkenny.
The All-Ireland final for the first time in 11 years.
It was a tame affair, but the second semi-final was anything but.
And Hayes, goal!
What transpired was nothing less than one of the greatest games in the history of the sport. Limerick would not die. Cork had to be absolutely mesmeric to beat them, and they stood tall.
Cork are through to the All-Ireland final.
Off the field, the usual fuss over GAA Go.
The spotlight has been on those games behind a paywall.
But I will be asking for an early meeting with the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach to get them to explain exactly where they are with regard to the criticism of our association.
I've been consistent in my view about the need to promote the game of hurling.
Throwing the ball instead of hand passing was all the rage.
Dónal Óg, the hand pass thing has gotten out of control at times.
You look at Owen Cody, like, that's a brilliant skill, yet it was given as a free.
And what annoys me with referees is they're guessing.
Galway's demise prompted Henry Shefflin's departure. Davy Fitz said goodbye in Waterford, but he'll surely be back somewhere sooner or later. You can't keep a busy man down. A busy HQ saw a repeat of the 2013 All-Ireland.
Will it go to Cork? Will it go to Clare? Atmosphere is electric. The tension is palpable.
One of the great All-Ireland goals.
Incredible goal. Tony Kelly.
For one of the great All-Ireland games.
Kelly gets a hurling throw. Lovely wrist work. This man is on fire.
Clare's league and championship double.
Clare have won the All-Ireland.
And Brian Lohan a winner as a player and manager. The king is dead. Long live the king.
The great Tony Kelly becomes a Clare All-Ireland winning captain.
Absolutely special. Some amazing things to look back on and what's been a brilliant championship 2024 season. But it wasn't just those moments that we've seen in there, because there's some other things that the 6 of you guys have picked out that will live long in the memory. And I think, Brendan, as a tip man, no surprise in what you have chosen for your moment of the year.
Yeah, people will have to forgive me. Going to Nolan Park has been a graveyard for a long time for Tipperary hurling. I think in future we might start maybe with 13 down there, the way that under-17 game went in that All-Ireland final tonight. And when O'Brien got the goal in extra time, and I think what that night showed me was that there was a lot of doubt around Tipperary supporters over the course of the summer. You can see them all there. The sense of injustice when the 2 boys were sent off, and it was harsh on the night, I'd have to say. But when Tipperary got to win, and when the team had the passion, I suppose, that's needed, the composure that's needed at the highest level to get over the line there, you know, it was just a huge lift. And credit to all the lads involved. James Woodlock and his managing team have done a fantastic job all year, and it just goes to show there is a little bit of that brightness, I suppose, in Tipperary's future. Those young men were just amazing, and what an atmosphere it was in Nolan Park that night.
Well, if there's green shoots in Tipperary, then there's absolutely green shoots in Offaly as well, Jackie, because their under-20 win as well just lit up the championship, and you loved it.
Yeah, it was a great year for Offaly in general, if you think of the Joe McDonagh final, but this night, it was just such a special night. The droves of faithful people that came from Offaly, that man Dan Burke, the captain, how he was unbelievable that night, man of the match, 1-3, Michael Duignan, who's headed it all up. You couldn't just sit back and with awe and kind of envy in a lot of ways to see what is going on in Offaly, the resurgence of hurling, the young talent that's coming through. Dan Burke is probably the most exciting talent coming through, and it's so, you know, we look forward to see what he brings. But, you know, just to witness that was outstanding. You know, it was just an amazing occasion, because Offaly have been in the doldrums for so long, and now they're showing, as you say, green shoots of a promising future.
Yeah, well, isn't it lovely on this programme to be able to celebrate such underage success? And then you see, Ursula, Two absolute warriors going hammer and tong right throughout the championship season to be that outright scorer in chief. It was incredible to watch.
Unbelievable, and two top-class players that have just, are still at the top of their game. TJ Reid and Patrick Horgan, both guys have gone past the 700-point mark now, and Horgan after today, is 10 points ahead of TJ. So it'll be interesting to see will the two guys stay on. But I think it's just their insatiable hunger, their desire to get the very best out of themselves. And like Horgan, you would feel for him especially. He's the top of the scoring chart, but it's that medal he still craves for. But these two guys, hats off. I think sometimes we define players by their age. These guys defy the odds in so many ways. And as I said, they're probably fitter and better than they were even when they made their debuts back in 08.
You're good pals with TJ. Is he going to be sitting at home there tonight saying, got to notch them off, get back at him again?
I'd say that's stuck in his craw tonight now that Huggy's gone a few ahead of him. And TJ would be, he loves scoring, and I'd say he might come back to us to have a go. He'd be that type of a person, but like normally we talk about these legends that are either passed away or sitting up in the stand with a walking stick. The two of these guys are still at it, and we were just the lucky ones to sit back and be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, Huggy involved in your moment as well, Shane, because when you look at him over the year, I just looking back today, he scored 19 points over the two games in the 2013 finals, 12 points in 2021, 12 points today. And again, in your moment, he's prominent as well. That Limerick-Cork game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh was just epic. Yeah,
I know it might sound a bit strange, a Limerick man picking this is the moment of the year, but just for hurling in general, Jackie, this game was just off the chart. I wasn't at it myself, I couldn't go, but I remember watching it, and just as Kingston ran down and got taken down for the penalty, and then Hoggy nails that. He tried to buy a free before that underneath the stand, and the ref didn't buy it. Then they got a free just after the goal down to Brian Hayes over the bar, and just the scenes after this, I suppose we're hurling people, aren't we? When you strip everything back, we're just real GA people. We saw it last night in that lovely touching moment you had enough for the match when Micheál and Murragh Hurtig and got the standing ovation. You were there as well, Dale. Underneath it all, we're just, we love hurling and we love scenes like that. And it was great because you knew that Cork sent something, and the scenes afterwards for that, it was just a sense that, it's not the Cork we're back, but they could be onto something. They still had to go on and beat Tipperary, but it was a magic moment in the calendar of hurling this year.
And in fairness, Shane, right, even amidst all that, I know you've picked that as a moment for you, but you can't forget about Limerick in the midst of all this as well, because they still did 6 in a row in Munster. They've been incredible champions, and it feels strange on a night like tonight not to even mention them too as part of this story too.
This is it, and since I finished up, I suppose, and started doing this, Limerick have been in every All-Ireland final and I've been here, so it's definitely strange considering where we've come from, but they've been wonderful champions, and I think the commentary from outside Limerick, from all these guys beside me, and the kind words they've said about the team just shows us the standards that they're held in. So it is strange, but as Brendan said, for hurling again, it was Clare and Cork, and Limerick were pushed aside, and all bets are off again for next year.
Yeah, look, that's where the crack begins. But there have been some moments of absolute brilliance in this championship, Joe, and you've given us plenty of them over the years, but there's some contenders that you've picked out here too.
Yeah, like goals, especially for me nowadays, and Cody's goal here, it's just the improvisation of, I suppose it's almost like Wimbledon's gone on there the last few weeks, and like how he thought what to do in that situation.
What would you do?
I wouldn't hit it anyway. I'd probably end up hitting one of the boys. But this goal again today, like Tony Kelly, these two goals for me, especially to get them in a semi-final and a final, like what you find it hard to actually explain how good that was. Like in a pressure moment, in a big game, biggest game of the year, and the coolness, the calmness, to just do the right thing when the pressure is most. That's what sets those players apart. And Cody's goal, for me, was just class. It was just one of those things that you stop and you look and you go, what, that just happened. And the same with Tony today. I actually got up out of my seat today when I saw Tony Kelly's goal.
But there's so many. That's the thing, Anthony, isn't it? When we're trying to sell the game, like you were saying there about if this was Maradona or Pele, we'd be jumping up around. Yeah. That's what those moments are going to do for young children watching the likes of those goals. Yeah,
I think we were all in the box just outside the studio, and we were all nearly going, what? It was just incredible. And, I think to create great moments as well, you have to take chances. And, some people at times, they'd say, I mean, we might be saying Robbie O'Flynn should have taken his point, but if that had nestled in the top corner, you have to have a cut, haven't you? And Tony there just, he kept going. He probably thought, better tap it over. And then he said, huh? He sensed, he smelled. It was on, and just the composure and the way he finished. And like, and it's just a gift of a game we have. Like, I don't care. I know we're snobs.
Yeah.
Jackie, but
Oh, listen, I'm happy to be a hurling snob. I think we're all pretty much in that boat. Well, let's celebrate some more. We can go back to the Winners' Hotel where Marty is alongside some of Clare's elder statesmen.
Welcome back to the All-Ireland champions Clare's Winners' Hotel. There is no doubt about it. It's been a Clare day and a Clare night, and indeed a Clare week, I'm sure, over the next couple of days. John Conlon and Shane O'Donnell joins me. Give them a big round of applause, everybody. John, put into words what today means to you, because this is your second All-Ireland medal, but today was something extraordinary for those of us who were privileged to be there. What was it like on the field?
It was just every man for themselves, really, to to work really hard. And you know, we said beforehand it'll come to stages where we need to dig in, and it was a testament to our panel today. The few lads that came in, they were all outstanding, and lads that had got loads of game time during the league when I suppose this man alongside me wasn't around, and Tony and myself and a few others. So yeah, it's a testament to the management, to the players, and all the group and partners and everyone within the group. It's just been a super year, and yeah, we're just so delighted. Absolutely. Shane, were you worried after the first 10 minutes after Robert Downey got a goal for Cork? Were you concerned because you weren't getting on an awful lot of ball, not you personally, but the team as a whole?
No, I don't think there was any concern at any moment. Maybe it was slightly different.
You could have told me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think we've been in a situation a few times this year where we've been down, especially against Cork actually, been down a number of points, but I think Brian has probably instilled an air of confidence there that no matter what the situation is, we can probably come out of it. Fortunate as well, there was probably early in the game that we had plenty of time and kind of knew that as well. So once we started getting a couple of scores, just felt like we were going to get back on the bike.
Resilience is kind of the word that is very much associated with this team, and spirit. And in most games, that resilience was tested, but none more so than today. What is it? How has that been created?
I don't know. I suppose all year we've been told that we were kind of playing in fits and starts, and I suppose we came with our best performance today, which was testament to the whole group. Probably didn't start too well, but we finished very strong. But that comes from our management, Brian at the top. Like, he's a legend. We love playing for him, and it's just a super group to be around, and from 1 to 40, and everyone just really, fighting for their place in the team and fighting for their place in the panel, and that's been tested over the last couple of months with everyone within training.
What was it like in the dressing room when it had to go to extra time? Because whatever it was like for you guys, you must have been exhausted, but we were all mentally drained and saying, do we have to do another 20 minutes of this? And then everybody started saying, extra time is wrong and there should be a replay. What was being said in the dressing room?
I think we were confident at extra time because we had so many, like all year we've had brilliant impact from our subs, and it's really just been like when we can get them onto the pitch and try and get them on as soon as possible to let them have the impact. So the fact that we had 20 more minutes for them to be able to influence the game, I felt extremely confident anyway at the end of extra time, or the end of normal time. I knew my race was probably coming to the end, but that didn't concern me either. John, knowing the quality of lads that we have to come on, it's just knew that they go do the job. I know you've given it all your life to the Clare team, and any thoughts of retirement have to be eliminated now, okay? They have to be deleted. Tony Kelly has said it. We, the people of Clare, I will say that now, all want John Conlon to be there because you're a very special man.
Thank you. Well, Brian said to me after, thanks for coming back in my ear. I said, I'm going over.
And let's clear the air here. There were talks about you going off to America. Shane O'Donnell, I presume Mr. Lohan will have a word in your ear, and you're going nowhere either.
America will have to wait a year, I think. There'll be another year anyway. And
Aye, we're delighted to hear it. I know that tomorrow night is going to be a massive reception. I'm sure you're looking forward to bringing Liam McCarthy Cup for the second time in your careers and the 5th time in the history of Clare to be bringing Liam McCarthy back to Ennis and back to Clare. In the year, of course, that we think of Michael Cusick as well, don't we? He was part of the foundation of the GA from Carron up in North Clare.
Yeah, look, it was special in 2013. That's what we were saying to all the lads over the last number of weeks. So anyone that hadn't experienced it, turning into the Fair Green that Monday night was a special thing for Shane and Davy O'Halloran, and I'm sure it'll be a massive special moment for himself and David Reedy when we turn around that corner into the Fair Green and tomorrow night, and we're looking forward to it.
So are you ready to party?
No,
have we got the stamina?
A Marty party.
Well, guess what, lads? So am I. John Conlon, Shane O'Donnell, congratulations.
Lads, he was only dying for an invitation. The Marty Party, absolutely. Well, we'll be back there for the man of the match and much more very shortly. But this weekend also saw the ladies' football semi-finals being held as a doubleheader in Tullamore. Valerie Wheeler can bring us the best of the action from Cork's clash with Galway and Kerry against Armagh.
In the first of the 2 semi-finals in O'Connor Park yesterday, Cork faced Galway in what was their 3rd competitive meeting this season. But it was Galway that looked the sharpest side, as with 5 minutes gone, they had a 2-0 score thanks to Roisin Leonard. Cork struggled, but after 2 frees from Katie Quirk that settled them, they eventually got their first score from play in the 10th minute from Ava McAuliffe. Galway could have been further in front as Roisin Leonard had a clear chance of a goal, but her effort went wide. Then Daniel Moynihan's side were awarded a penalty as Charlotte Cooney was fouled by Aoife Healy. After missing out on the earlier goal, Roisin Leonard made up first. Now they were 2 in front. They continued to push on as just before half-time, Alva Davern secured their 2nd goal, where the score was 5 points to 2-4 at the break. Things could have gotten worse for Cork when Eilish Morrissey broke through, but Canonter shot off the crossbar 3 minutes after the restart. And Katie Quirk, who was excellent throughout, kept the Leesiders in the game with her performance. Now only 3 points separated them. Shane Renane's side did have a late goal chance, but Sarah Leahy's effort was stopped and out came Shauna Hines with the ball to safety. With the time up and a late free for the Rebels, it wasn't to be. And Galway are through to the All-Ireland Senior Final for the first time since 2019. They finished Cork 10 points, Galway 2-7. In the second game, it was Kerry who were aiming to reach their 3rd successive final against Armagh, looking to bridge an 18-year gap. Armagh opened the scoring and burst into a 3-point lead thanks to Dervla Coleman. Kerry were slow to start, but once they did, there was no stopping them. Emma Deneen picked out Niamh Concour, who had in the back of the net past Anna Carr, to have the sides level. Kerry looked dangerous and piled on the pressure on Armagh. Niamh Carmody with the shot on what could have been a goal. It was tipped over the bar instead. Then Aisling O'Connell added another, and the Kingdom had scored 1-5 without response, and they headed in at the break with a 5-point advantage. Armagh had to act fast to get back into the game, a much-needed score from Niamh Coleman. Now they only trailed by 4. But it was Danielle O'Leary who took the Kingdom's last score of the day to secure the win. Things did go from bad to worse for Armagh as they played the last 10 minutes with 14 players following the 58-minute sin-binning of Blaheen Mackin. But it was the Kingdom who did enough to seal the deal and reach the All-Ireland Ladies Football Final. It finished Armagh 7 points, Kerry 1-8.
So Kerry into their 3rd straight final, where they'll face a Galway side playing in their first All-Ireland final since 2019. A cracking one to look forward to in 2 weeks' time. Well, we're going to take another quick break here on the programme, but when we come back, we will be announcing the All-Ireland final man of the match, and we'll be doing our Sunday game team of the year.
For more great shows, go to the RTE Player app on Sky.
Welcome back. Clare are All-Ireland hurling champions for 2024, and now it's time to get to our Man of the Match nominees. And Brendan, you've been tasked with the job of picking our 3 nominees and telling us, I guess, why the panel thought some of these 3 players really stood out today.
Yeah, the first is a guy that's burst on the scene this year for Clare. First nominee is Conor Lean. He was really, really good today. Really set the tone. You know, when the pressure's on, you're going man for man. You know, you have to have a defender inside there who's willing to play from the front. He really did that. Our second nominee from Clare is Tony Kelly. 1-4. We've already said how great he did today. You know, I mean, just when the pressure's at its highest, you know the great players, they'll come out and produce. And the last is, while the 2 Downey brothers are really, really good from the Cork side in the defence, we went to Rob Downey as being our last nominee for Man of the Match. Scored a goal, hoovered up an awful lot of ball, very clever in possession, and he's fixed really the centre-back issue, I suppose, that Cork had, and we saw it there in spades today in Croke Park in All-Ireland final day.
Yeah, certainly the biggest day brought out a lot of big performances, but there can only be one winner, so let's go to the Winners' Hotel and we can find out who is the Man of the Match then from this year's All-Ireland hurling final.
We're going to make you wait just a moment or 2 longer because Uchtwan Cummalú Closcail Jarlath Burns is here beside me. He's going to be doing the big announcement. Jarlath, your first senior inter-county All-Ireland final wasn't a bad way to start.
Yeah, one of the most incredible games we have ever seen in Croke Park. And you know, I was thinking, we launched the hurling championship this year from Cusack Cottage in Carron. And I was just thinking 140 years ago, a man from this county decided that it was time to codify the rules of the game and to set up this organisation called the GAA. And in 1908, another man called Frank Brazel-Draneen from Ballylanders in County Limerick decided to buy the land that Croke Park is on and to donate it to the GAA. And today, a county from the same, a team from the same county as Michael Cusack came and won the All-Ireland, and it was refereed by a man who was born only maybe a half a mile away from Frank Brazel-Draneen was born in Ballylanders. And I was just wondering if Cusack and Frank Dineen walked into Croke Park today, what would they think of what they saw? And I think that these players and the players from Cork would have made them feel very proud of the legacy that they began. And this game, this ancient game that is our culture, that began right back into the mythology of Cuchulainn, which, by the way, was an Armagh man. It is an incredibly magical game, and it's even impossible to put in words the efforts that these lads made over 90 minutes, and the fact that na céadta sa cha agus na dearanacha as is the motto of Clare, the first into the battle and the last out of it. And I think that describes how they did it.
It might describe how long they're going to be here tonight as well. There were some great individual performances as well as a great team performance. I have a feeling the Man of the Match may not have too far to walk, but let us know.
So she leik na himmerha fihe cahar clehe canish pella amaniacht and a heron. And it's the second time I'll be presenting something to this man today. It's our captain, Tony Kelly.
I'll turn you this way. Tony, I'm just going to get you to turn around that way. Congratulations. I don't think it's too much of a surprise to too many people in this room or at home. Let's get straight away, because we didn't talk about it earlier. This 1-4, the great Conor McManus called it the best 1-4 you'll ever see.
He's kicked a fair 1-4 himself in his time, but yeah, no, look, it's I suppose it's a mighty day for our own county, as Brian has said, John Sod said as well, and yeah, look, it's just happy to contribute something to it. As he said there, it was a fantastic game to play, and I'd say it was an unbelievable game to watch, I'd say, for a neutral, because anyone you talked to down here said it was the worst 90 minutes they've ever experienced. But yeah, so look, it's just delighted to contribute.
That's some great deflecting. Let's get back to the 1-4. Because it wasn't just any 1-4, it was 1-4 at crucial periods in the All-Ireland final, and the type of goal that you scored, which you told Damien today probably looked better than that actually was. We don't believe that for a second, but even the points, is there one that stands out for you in particular?
Not really. No.
Too much has happened in the meantime.
The point that kind of stands out was their level or normal time, because you're looking up going, Jesus, we have to go again. That's the point now that really sticks out. But yeah, I suppose from a personal point of view, and it would be remiss of me not to mention 3 people. I actually forgot them in my speech, but they're probably the 3 most important people we have in our setup, and that's Catherine Fahey, Shane Malone, and Michelle McNamara, our medical team.
We see one man in a sling just behind us.
Yeah, no, it was an oversight by me, but without them, I wouldn't have been back. Ryan Taylor probably wouldn't have been back. You know, anything you ever ask of them, they're top class, along with everyone we have in the management team, and yeah, tribute to those 3 especially.
Well done to those 3. All of the players, all of the management team there as well. And a huge congratulations to our 2024 All-Ireland winning captain and man of the match, Tony Kelly.
Thanks.
Yeah, Tony Kelly, absolutely worthy of a man of the match winner. Let's get to the real contentious stuff now, lads. This is the perfect. I think he picked man of the match pretty quickly, to be fair, and everybody was fairly unanimous on it. The team of the year, always something that year not. But pretty simple one. Let's start off with our goalkeeper, Brendan. Who have you gone for?
Yeah, simple one, furthest from the truth. But look, we 2 new goalies in All-Ireland final day today, and again, there was a huge high standard, but that man, Nicky Quaid, was the one who got ahead slightly of Patrick Collins. Quaid's been really good through the round robin, even in the All-Ireland semi-final. Puck outs, everything he does, his composure and exact, and his high standards. And I suppose the fact he's high standards and he matches them every year is a credit to himself in it. But he's our goalkeeper for 2024.
So Limerick getting off the mark then with a goalkeeper. Then Jackie, you're going to take us through the full back line. Who have you chosen?
Yeah, 3 young guys. First up, Adam Hogan, outstanding year. Everything you'd want in a cornerback: pace, power, a lovely nastiness to him. He just gets up in corner forward.
That's a lot coming from you.
Lovely nasty.
Owen Downey at full back. We spoke about the problem that Cork had at full back. No more anymore with this young guy. He was just peerless today and just manned that centre or full back position so well. And last but not least, Conor Lean. I mean, this guy could be one of the all-time great cornerbacks for Clare. He was brilliant again today and has had an outstanding year. Does things so easily. I mean, how he handled Patrick Horgan today was outstanding.
Yeah, brilliant full back line there.
I'm sorry, Jackie, 21, 21 and 23, the 3 ages of them.
Well, that's the thing, and particularly, Anthony, when you look at the 2 Clare lads at the back there, if you'd have said at the start of the year that they'd been a Sunday game team of the year, I don't know if maybe even they might have thought that this was the way their season was going.
You might think Adam, you know, he was contender for Young Player of the Year last year, but Conor, and we all know he was a great talent at underage and at club level, but, you know, really, Brian and the lads have just given him that extra bit of confidence, and what performance he gave on big days.
He was very close for man of the match. Like, he had an unbelievable game today, in fairness to him, and his first All-Ireland. Like.
And if you think in the dying moments against Kilkenny, he's coming out with the ball, bounces off the, you know, the boundness to do that. Like, if that goes out of his hand and Kilkenny get a score, like, this is becoming a
cornerback
next hopping off the ground.
I wouldn't have done it anyway.
They're learning a lot from you, that's for sure. Right, take us, Anthony, then through the half-back line. Who have you gone for in these
Just to stress, there was about 10 votes in all of this now, Jackie. So, Davy Mack, what a leader for us for well over a decade, and semi-final performance, and again today, you know, little ladies men. Robert Downey, troubled position, especially when Joyce got injured. He stepped in magnificent today. What a goal, you know, up the field. And like, I've seldom ever seen a team to target a wing back to take him out of the game, and this man, Kyle Hayes, he's so important that Cork nearly sacrificed Declan Dalton on the day to try and keep him out of the play, and that'll tell you how powerful a player he is, and was outstanding. And I suppose that was half of Cork's success in getting over Limerick, was keeping him quiet in the semi.
Well, there was a powerful debate about that line, Shane, because that one was probably one of the difficult ones to pick, the half-back line, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and like some people might say, sure, Kyle didn't touch the ball in the semi-final, but he had a really, really good Munster campaign. Like, you know, contender probably for Hurler of the Year at that stage, and just like, I think Dale summed it up well. The fact that Cork went to the lengths that they went to keep him out of the game, he'd only a handful of possessions, and but yeah, there was, you know, he got in there because of his Munster Championship performances that were really, really good.
There's a knock-on impact then of that half-back line onto the midfield as well, and further up the field, because there was a lot of people being accommodated in different places. But Ursula, take us through the midfield.
Yeah, we've gone for Tony Kelly, you know, man of the match, captain's part today, 1-4, incredible. You know, when they needed him most, he stood up, and, you know, just think he wasn't there at the start of the year, and he missed the championship game against Cork earlier on. Darragh Fitzgibbon, you know, blistering pace, had a fantastic year overall. You know, came into the final as top point scorer from play as well, and chipped in with 2 points again today. And his move to centre forward was crucial for Cork as well. He potentially had a really good influence on the game even when he moved in.
Tony Kelly's performance in the All-Ireland final today, Jackie, is probably what puts him into that team, is it?
There's no doubt about it, and you know, there's times where Tony has gone out of games. There's no doubt about the last 2 semi-finals against Kilkenny. But on the biggest days, the big stars shine, and none shine brighter. I'd say particularly when Shane O'Donnell was good in the first half, but in the second half, when Cork kind of got on top of him and Clare were looking for someone, they needed someone. Tony Kelly came up, as Joe said, probably the greatest 1-4 he'll ever score, and probably won the All-Ireland for Clare this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it, and I think he's probably not the only one, because when you look around some of the other performances, Shane, in the half-forward line as well, this one was a tricky one to call as well.
Oh, it was. I think most of them were tricky, but this man, since the minute the league started, it was said at the end of the league, if there was a hurler of the year to be given then, it would have been David Fitz, and his form continued into the round-robin stages in Munster and again in the last 2 games. Shane Barrett, again, has been exceptional all year. Early on, got a couple of scores. John Conlon then got on top of him, but in terms of the centre forward, he had a really, really good semi-final. And this man, Seamus Harnedy, has been exceptional this year. When Waterford beat Cork at the start of the year, there was many people calling for his head and Hoggy's head, and a few more, the elder statesmen. But again, that night down at Páirc Uí Chaoimh against Limerick, the semi-final, and again today, exceptional performances.
Yeah, brilliant.
And just 2 mentions. John Donnelly it was really, really good for Kilkenny throughout the Leinster Championship, and Gearóid Hegarty again. We said it about Kyle, if there was hurler of the year given after the Munster Championship campaign, they'd have been there, but I suppose the semi-finals carry a bit of weight, don't they?
Ah, look, they have to. And to be fair, Joe, even with the full forward line, a lot of it does come down to that. Who's going to perform on the big day and why are they in the team? So take us through who you picked.
Yeah, they always come down to the semi-finals and finals, but Mark Rodgers for us consistently throughout the year, 1-3 today in the All-Ireland final. What more could you ask for? Consistently really good throughout the year, and like even Fitzgibbon. And then this guy, Shane O'Donnell, like a phenomenal year. Like every day he came out, missed the league obviously. I think more people will be probably trying to do that to perform. And then Brian Hayes, I think he was defined for Cork this year, changed their year, because he was the target man. He was the guy that went to with the puck outs. He was the guy that got 2 points again today, but really good. If you were to say Brian Hayes this time last year could be in contention for an All-Star, you know, you wouldn't believe it, but really good. And like, there's loads of guys, like Aaron Gallan was really good this year, Connolly was good, so yeah, we all kind of had different teams. There was loads of different teams. Dalo wanted to pick Liam Doyle, Shawnee Mack and himself in half back time, but
close. Well, the problem was, Dalo, look, you were on the live coverage, so you missed half the debate. Then you came in, you wanted to set the cat amongst the pigeons.
Well, I tell you now, if you're on the live coverage, you've no say in this team.
Come here, you've seven Clare lads on it. If you had your way, you'd have 15.
Father Harry, the great Father Harry, we saw him last night in Feakle. He might be late. He was selector with me for 2 years, and myself and Alan Cunningham, and himself. Alan's brilliant with Limerick now, and he used to come in and say, well, have you been picked? Yeah. You know, like, give me a look at it anyway, like, you know, so...
Like this year's championship was so close. All the games, like, were really, really close, like, and it was really difficult. Like, you look at Cathal O'Neill there, you could say Blanchfield in Kilkenny there was, you know, you could say in hard luck as well, like, but it just shows the standard and how I said close these games have been, like that. You see it likes of Tony Kelly, the way they can just turn the game in your favour.
I'd have said Cian Kenny.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I can't believe there's no Kilkenny person on it, and you allowed that to happen.
I should have regarded me in the game.
And a Wexford person back in Kilkenny. I was fighting for possibly Blanchfield wing back. I think he was really good all year. I think he would have come pretty close to that team today. So,
do you think though, like Kilkenny were in an All-Ireland semi-final, and Limerick have 2 fellas on a team? I do think like there were performances in Kilkenny, Jackie, that they were very close to being in an All-Ireland final.
They were, and it could be a different picture tonight, but that's the nature of the game. And I see the game now between 5 and 12. It's very hard to understand who's marking who. Like, you'd Mark Holmes attacking 3 points, and you Dave Fitzgerald doing the same, and they were marking each other. You know, the only people that are really kind of accountable to each other, and you can kind of match up as the full back and kind of try. After that, it's kind of amazing.
Real men back there.
What's that?
Real men back there.
Nasty boy back there.
I thought Kieran Joyce was unlucky. I thought in big moments this year for Cork, I thought he was huge. Missed the part of the round robin. You think of that block that he did on Aaron Gillane after Patrick Collins' save. Another one today, came up with a big point. And I felt the half-back line was probably the most competitive. Like, it's so many lads you could juggle and put in there. David Blanchfield being one of them, Dermot Ryan as well, outstanding today, and John Conlon, you know.
And just speaking of John Conlon, we saw today the amount of players went out with cramps and everything. He's 35 years of age and he's 36 next January. He played 90 minutes and none of us saw him cramping, going down. He lasted the whole game. He's made a steal, that man. He's incredible today.
The 2 ye now could be getting your training started there for next year.
Give me 2 knees and I'll go back.
You'll still come back fitter, I'd say.
Oh, listen, I'd give you a good go. The other thing is, Brendan, when you look at Cork, you know, 6 players up there behind us. If you'd have told them that after the first 2 games that they'd end up in an All-Ireland final, 6 fellas on a Sunday game team of the year, potentially being people having in conversation or the hurler of the year, it's amazing how quickly things turn.
Look, it turns on small moments, like below in that game, the Chain Show there in the park when Cork played Limerick. Kingston went in a run. He went by Hayes. Hayes' instinct should have been to grab and pull him down. If he does that, the way the game was going, Cork could be out. Pat Ryan is looking for a new job, essentially, is the way the world works at an inter-county management. And the whole thing changes, you know, and that's the fine margins that are involved. Instead, though, when they got their opportunity, and they were sitting at home for some of the games going, oh, I hope we qualify. But every time they got the chance, and especially the 2 times against Limerick, they took it. So they can be really proud of their effort last year, or this year. But we all know, back to being GA sports people, like, the target's on their back now for next year. So let's see what they'll do, but that'll be for another couple of months' time when they sit down to plan for that.
Yeah. Before that, we have to crown Sunday Game Hurler of the Year. Joe, they've handed you the responsibility.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys, I suppose, like Fitzgibbon for Cork had a really good year, but when it came down to it at the end of the day, Shane O'Donnell throughout the year was just phenomenal for Clare. And maybe today wasn't his best day. I think he was carrying a bit of an injury in the second half with his shoulder, and he came off near the end then with maybe a bit of cramp. But like the stuff he was doing throughout the Munster Championship and the quarter-final, semi-final, and even today when the need was most in the first half, he was just brilliant, and it's great to hear that he's around. He's not being an astronaut or whatever next year. So Dalo's on about back-to-back already. So
oh, you were rubbing your hands when you saw the lads.
When he heard.
Do you know though it's funny because he's only
my sister, I hope, is watching this.
Actually, nailed on is the word he used.
Do you know though, Dalo, he's only 19 years of age in that final in 2013, and you have no idea of what he's going to end up becoming. To think that 11 years later, look what the man is doing. Joe said it's not every day, but my God, what he does for Clare is spectacular.
Yeah. And the concussion injury, Jackie, was really, really serious. I mean, there was a doubt whether he'd work again. Like, he couldn't do anything. And leadership in the last 3 years have been just incredible. He's everything you'd... If some of us have on coach, and I'm not so much anymore, but when I was, you'd be nearly showing him videos of the way he goes about it. I mean, the hand for everything, the turn, the strength today for the goal. Do you know, and for a fella that doesn't play National League, I think there'll be a lot of people.
If Shane O'Donnell gets hurler of the year, right, the last 3 hurlers of the year, Dermot Burns, Aaron Gillane, Shane O'Donnell won't have played any league. So there could be something in that. And we see coaches and teams going back in November and December, dogging lads. Maybe the lads that are the freshest come out the best.
There's been nobody hurling in the winter.
I think that has to be recognised of Brian Lohan and the group of players that they have, and the trust and honesty that you have a fella there that they know is not going to be playing through the league, or like what John Kiley has done with the other players. You know, sometimes you can create red lines and all this kind of thing. You just have to do what's good for the group, and in fairness, if a good manager can recognise that and the players do as well, then suddenly, you know, you have a great chance.
Yeah, and Conor Lean will say got loads of league time. King Galvin came on and made 3 or 4 big plays and had to wait, like, and he was well down the pecking order. But then when he got his chance, you know, and Shane Meehan, you know, lads like that, the league.
What about Darragh Lohan coming in at full back? We've never seen it, like, you know, you've seen it coming in. That's so obviously, and Brian has made some big decisions. Got him all right today.
Yep, he certainly did, and that is why Clare are All-Ireland champions. Lads, we're going to have to leave it there tonight. We've had a fantastic night. My thanks to all of the gang, to Brendan, to Jackie, to Ursula, to Shane, to Joe, to Anthony, and to all of our hurling pundits who have been with us throughout the year. I hope you enjoyed the night tonight, Dalo, and everybody in Ennis. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable season, but it ends with a big banner roar. And don't forget, we'll do it all again next Sunday for the All-Ireland football final between Galway and Armagh. We will see you then.